Okay.
Okay, Patty, and if you want to unmute yourself, because we'll be just having this very informal, just a dialogue, just to let you know what the process is. We have a subcommittee of city council that interviews all applicants for boards, authorities, and commissions. And then once we do the interview, we make recommendations back to the full council, and you get officially voted in.
Okay.
So I'm really pleased that you're interested in this board. And just a little bit about yourself, what brought you to this position?
Sure. So I am the HR director at Berks Connections Pretrial Services, and I have been in HR many years, but I've been doing it in downtown Reading at nonprofits for the last decade about. I actually heard about this through Al Weber, who we do strategic planning with. And I have always been very supportive of libraries. They have always had, you know, been an important part of my life throughout my life and my children's lives. And I am passionate about what they do. And I really hope that I'm able to help support the mission.
Okay. And what do you understand about the Reading Public Library Board?
Well, I honestly don't know a lot about it. I do have some basic knowledge. From what I understand, there's 3 different entities that nominate board members or have board members: the foundation, the city, and I'm not sure about the other one, Friends, maybe.
Oh, you mean 3 associate? Yeah. So this is the governing body for the library, which is owned by the city of Reading and with some contributions from the county. But the city's responsible. It's another program of the city. But when we divested it, that was when the separate board of directors got set up.
Understood.
So have you ever been on a board where you've had to make governing decisions at all?
I have. I was on the foundation for RAC.
Okay.
I was actually their student representative, but then I was I believe I was their first student who was nominated to an actual board position once I had graduated from RAC. And I served for several years. I was on one of their committees. It definitely was a learning experience for me when I was on that board. And since then, I'm familiar with how boards work just because, you know, I've been in the management team for a nonprofit for a long time.
Yeah, and I'm very familiar with your nonprofit from my full-time job with the Council on Chemical Abuse. So,
oh, awesome, great.
Very familiar. We just had another council member join us, Councilwoman Johanny Cepeda Freitas. So when we're sort of done with the line of questions, Johanny will definitely probably have some questions for you too. I believe Johanny at one point sat on this board of directors, so she's pretty familiar with it.
Okay.
Okay. So just
hello.
A logistical question. The board meets on the 3rd Monday of each month at 4 o'clock. Would that work for you as far as scheduling goes?
It would, yes.
Okay. And then the other thing that happens, and you know this from being on other boards, that there's a lot of subcommittees that get set up, activities like the library fundraiser, which is a really big event. Would you be able to participate fully on the board as far as its committees and events?
I would, for sure. And my understanding is there's a need for either personnel or strategic planning. I'm not sure if that's separate committees, but I have a lot of experience in both of those areas.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I guess with your association with Al, you probably get that sense of it.
Yeah.
Johanny, do you have any questions at all?
Yes. So, Patty, welcome to the nominations committee. And I'm also excited that you're interested in serving on the Reading Public Library Board. I know when I served, I would take my kids with me to meetings sometimes because, you know, I didn't have childcare for them after hours. Do you see that, like, will you be bringing your children to meetings, or would that be an inconvenience at all? Or
I will not. So both of my kids are older. I have a daughter in college, and my son has graduated last year and has a full-time job. I have 2 step kids, but I probably would not ever need to bring them.
Oh, and not that that would be a problem, because what I appreciated about the board, were very flexible, and my children would be in a separate room doing their homework while I was in the other room, being part of the meeting. So just I always appreciated the board being very family friendly, even to board members.
Yeah, that's actually very wonderful to hear.
So my question for you, Patty, is, so what are you looking to do once you're on the board? Any ideas, thoughts based on your observation of how the library has been functioning for the last several years?
I think that, right off the bat, I want to just get an understanding of where things are. I am not that familiar with what the board has done up until this point. So I'd like to get a good understanding of that and find out where the needs lie, and then see where I can use my strengths to help out with that. But I'm definitely interested to do all of that.
Yeah, and the library is going through a major transition with a new executive director. So it's an interesting time to join a board when, a lot of people will be learning together.
Yeah, I was looking back at some of the minutes that you guys have on the website, and I did see that there is a new executive director. And absolutely, that is a transitional time, and I hope I could help out with that.
Okay, and do you belong to the library system?
I do.
You use it? Okay.
Yeah.
And what are some of the programs you might connect to or services?
Well, right now, I will download books and read them. In the past, I used the library system a lot, of course, when I was going to RAC. I went back to college as an adult to complete my degree. So I used it a lot then. And then as my children were younger, we were at the library all the time. We did story hours and the craft time, and we would go and check out books. And I will age myself here by saying we checked out books on tape.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Yep. Yeah. So it's always been part of our lives, and I've always my mom instilled in me holding a library card as a thing of honor.
Yeah. As I'm getting older, I'm getting more geared towards reading electronic books. It's easier on the eyes, but I sort of miss holding books.
Yeah. I'll go back and forth. Sometimes I'll use my Kindle, and sometimes I really will want to hold, the paper book.
Yeah. Just a little aside, it's interesting for me because my husband and I share the same account. So I'm able to see what he's reading and he's able to see what I'm reading. And then we sort of change ideas about books, but that's what makes it fun. Okay, one of the challenges that all library systems face is sources of sustainable funding. What is your belief about a library tax that would help to provide that to the Reading Public Library System?
Oh, wow. I don't think I know enough about that to be able to pick if I'm for or against that. I would definitely want to get more information to see if that's something that made sense, and hear about the people that know more about it than I do.
And I think that's the way we always look at council making decisions about taxation and everything. What do we need to know and what's the best route?
Right.
Johanna, do you have any more questions?
No, not at the moment. I appreciate the questions you're asking, Marcia.
Well, I can tell you, reading's always been so a part of my life. I was really fortunate to have that promoted from the time I could pick up a book. And I remember as a child going to the Reading Public Library and burrowing into the stacks, and then got so excited when I went to Penn State and got to use the library. If you've ever been up to Penn State, the Petit Library is just incredible. And used to get lost in the stacks there. And now everything's changed about how you do research. And, the hard books aren't the things that people go for as much, but,
right.
The libraries are so important.
Yeah, for sure. When I got out of high school, I lived in Texas, and I went to the University of Texas for a semester. I ended up going on a non-traditional path, and I did not complete college right away. Like I said, I did as an adult. But when I decided to go into the workforce, I was doing job interviews, and this was in the 90s. I was in my 20s, early 20s, and I got a job interview working at a business that I really didn't know a whole lot about. And I remember going to the library with my card and checking out some books so I could have a better understanding of what they did and what I would be expected to do. And, you know, that has always just kind of stuck with me as like, you know, the library is always that kind of that place you can go to get the information that you need. And there's always people there to help.
So do you have any questions for us at all?
I don't think that I do. I am excited if I am confirmed for this to kind of jump in and see what everything is all about and see what I can do to help. Yeah, so I don't think I have a ton of questions. I did, when I spoke to the girl at the library, she had given me a bunch of information. So,
Great.
yeah.
I have to actually spend my time getting down there a little more now. Now I'm back in the office full time, so, okay. And Jahani, do you have any more questions?
No, I just want to thank you, Patty, for sharing also your experiences and how instrumental or the library has been in your life. You know, I think, you know, stories like yours, you know, we got to continue spreading because I know the library definitely impacts community, right? And it's always that safe space for people to come, learn, hang out, gather information. So thank you. Like I look forward to, you know, seeing you get on board in the near future. And thank you for, you know, wanting to dedicate some of your time to the library board and its mission.
Okay, so just a little bit about the process, Patty, is that what will happen is we will be making a decision, and then at our next council meeting, which is next Monday, we'll have you on the agenda for approval. Okay, and then once you're approved, you have to come in and just do some paperwork, take a little oath, and then you'll be able to, you know, fully attend the next meeting of the library as a voting member.
Wonderful. Sounds good. Thank you.
So you'll reach out to me. A lot of luck, and thank you very much.
Thank you. So will I hear from you by email then?
Yeah.
You'll get a formal packet of information from the clerk's office.
Okay, wonderful. It was delightful to meet you all.
Thank you. Take care.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. Okay, Johanny, we're just waiting for the next candidate, which is Josie.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm here.
Okay. Are you going to be joining us by Zoom then for the meeting at 5 too?
I hope to be there in person.
Okay, I know. I was trying to figure out how to do that, and I was just like, okay, this is getting too nutsy. So I just take off like an hour and a half every other Monday.
Yeah, I would have been there. I had to run around with my dad and his appointments. Since Monday's like the only day, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. You have to be able to prioritize your days.
Yeah. So trying to make the best of my Mondays, but I hope to be there in person.
Great. Would you send an email to Josie?
She got a reminder at 3:00,
Okay.
the invite.
And while we're waiting, Johanny, I was just looking at the status, and we really need to be able to get some clarity from the mayor, especially about the planning commission.
In terms of,
Well, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 people in motion.
Hi, this is Shelley calling
Of
from the
7
Reading City
members.
Council office.
Um,
Will you be joining the Nominations and Appointments Committee meeting? The Nominations and Appointments Committee meeting, you were to be scheduled to be interviewed for the Equal Business Opportunity Board. Okay, so you'll be connecting? Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Give her a minute or two.
Who's left on the planning commission that isn't being or isn't up for being reappointed?
say that again, Martha?
Yeah, I'm just asking Shelley, because there's 7 seats on the planning commission and 4 of them need to have some action taken for reappointments or appointments.
3 of them, there's more there's more applicants than there are seats.
Okay,
So
wow.
Wayne Beeler and Lee Olson are up, they've applied to be reappointed. And then there's 1 vacant seat that was created when you made it 7 members. And there are 2 people who've applied for that 1 seat. And they're all in the mayor's office waiting for him to process them.
and I have to ask you a question after we do this interview then about one of the applicants for the planning, okay?
Okay.
You have to ask me or Shelley?
I'm sorry, she was looking at me. I forget that you
Oh,
can't
okay.
see.
I wasn't. Mhm.
Hopefully she has the link.
Hello, this is Shelley. I resent it to your email about 3:00 this afternoon. Yeah, if you'd like, I can resend it. Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye. Just cut to the chase.
Okay, yeah, I see that now. I'm looking over the commissions. So planning is the one that really needs to work done on it. And the equal business opportunity budget.
Yeah. my goodness. Hello, this is Shelley. Yes, I just resent it just a moment ago. You're welcome. Bye. The other one that's been sitting for a long time is the Recreation Commission.
I know that. I
Now, we
saw
just
that.
got a second application. So now there's 2 applicants for 1 position.
That one's been sitting in the mayor's bin.
That one's been sitting since February of 2021.
The clearances were submitted.
The second person, he has to run through the background
Okay.
and then he'll move to the mayor's office. I don't suspect he'll have any issues.
It's really hard. It's not fair to people that have been sitting. They probably forgot it.
Well, he checks in with me every once in a while to see if
Mhm.
there's anything new. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, here we go. There she is. Okay. Okay, she's connecting.
Hello, Josie. This is Marcia Goodman Hendershitz. How you doing?
Good morning, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So thanks for joining us. I'm here, and then virtually with us is Johanny Cepeda Freitas. So you can see her there. She's peeking in.
Hi,
Josie,
how
are
you? Hi, good, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Likewise.
So we're both part of the nominations committee, and you're applying to be on the Equal Business Opportunity Board, which thank you
Yes.
very much for putting your name forward. Okay.
Thank you for allowing me to apply.
So just when you made that decision, what's your understanding of this board and the purpose of it?
My understanding is to provide equal opportunity to all of those that submit their bids for jobs, I believe, in the city
Right.
and county. So we want to be fair and give it to the one that's most qualified
Mhm.
and not judging just because we know them that they will get the job.
Mhm. Yeah, and just to let you know, and that's very well said, it is limited just to the city because we can only have jurisdiction over the city. But I think
Okay,
your point's well made that it probably should be something that is done throughout the county.
yes. Mhm.
So what made you interested in applying for this particular board? Because I know you have a lot of different things you're involved in, so I'm wondering
I
what drew you to
am.
this one.
I am. I'm semi-retired. I'm looking to stay active in different organizations or different groups that have to do with the city of Reading. As you know, I was born and raised here in the city of Reading.
Right.
My dad was a big advocate for all of
Mhm.
the Hispanics here in Reading, Daniel Torres. And I want to follow in his footsteps and I want to continue. I had a business many years ago, I'd say like probably 30 years ago. It was an interpreting business where I would help individuals who needed help with interpreting in the courts or translations of documents. I did have to resign from that position. I did have to give up my business because of insurance. I needed
Mhm.
insurance. And at that time, that's when I was offered the position at the ILE Charter School, which was 20 years ago.
Has it been that long ago? My word.
It was.
Yeah, time really goes
Well,
fast. Doesn't
actually,
it?
it was ILE Inc. first. It was ILE
Right,
Inc.
right.
that I worked for, and then it became the ILE Charter School.
Yeah, and it was in the 500 block of Penn Street, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
See,
Mhm.
I have a good memory.
Yes.
Okay, so one of the questions we always ask all the applicants, and obviously you're retired, you would have time to attend meetings regularly.
Yes.
Just to let you know, this board is just in its formation stage, so we only have one other person appointed. So we need to get more appointees before you can start have regular meetings. So there may be a little bit of a time lag until we're all up and running, but we'll keep you informed about that. One
Okay,
of the questions we always ask the applicants is if you have ever bid on anything for the city for a request for proposal.
no,
And no, okay. See,
no.
and
I have now submitted for the grant under
right,
the ARP
right,
for the Berks County Latino Chamber of Commerce. And I
okay,
submitted it to the county
right,
for funding, for
right,
educational, for the small
great,
businesses.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So we were just wondering if you had been through the request for proposal process with the city, what you thought about that, but just what other experience do you think? And I think you provided some background experiences that you would bring to this type of board.
Um, Experiences is being around a lot of the, I would say, minority business owners who
Mhm.
really don't know how to apply for a bid. I just
Right,
came across this one man in my office who came because he's having cash flow problems. And I'm like, well, you do roofs. And I went online and I saw that there was a bid for roofing, but we were like 2 weeks too late. And I said,
right,
and I was, educating him on what site to go on to because it changes
mhm,
all the time and how to apply. So we did help a few people apply for that. That I did, but he was too late. So he's a roofer, he's a contractor, he does painting and a lot more. So I know how to get on the website. I know how to look for the bids. I didn't bid. I did bid for the state contract for interpreting.
mhm,
That was like 30 years ago.
right.
But
So you know all the ups and downs as far as what you have to go through for the bidding process.
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
it is a
and,
process. Yes, indeed
exactly.
it
And you
is.
have to have, I always think it's like jumping through hoops or going through some kind of gauntlet that you never know what's going to pop up next.
Right,
Uh,
right,
and then if you don't understand what they're trying to communicate with you, then it's like, where do you go? Even, I think all of us are challenged by that. So I'm
right.
glad
And
you're
and the
going,
small businesses owners, they don't know anything.
right,
It's like, trying to educate them and trying to let them know
right,
that they're not taking advantage of you. Like when I was working with the CHIRP program and I would go out to the restaurants or to the small businesses and help them apply online because they didn't even know how to get online. So I did the application for them and a lot of them were upset with me because they didn't qualify. And the reason they didn't qualify is because they didn't have all their finances in line.
right,
Like everything was written on a receipt. Everything, their daily income was on a receipt. And I was telling them, you have to have everything in black and white. That's why you didn't qualify. And I agree, they probably did have a loss during COVID, but they can't show for it.
right.
There's no proof. So they have to have proof. So that's why we're starting this financial education program,
Mhm.
which is going to be starting on Wednesday for small businesses. We already have 15 that registered for it under the Berks County Latino Chamber. We want to teach them how to look at a bank statement, what to look for in how to do their cash flow, how to manage it.
Mhm.
This guy that came into my office, he does not know how to manage his cash flow. He is in the hole right now and trying to get a loan so that he can pay his workers.
Yeah, and that's a real discipline that you need to learn. So thank you
Mhm.
for giving so much back to the community in that way. So Johanny, do you have any questions for
Well,
Josie?
I also wanted to echo what you said, Marsha, in terms of, thank you, Josie, for the work that you did put in during the pandemic, because I think you were one of the few people and few organizations that was doing the door-to-door to small businesses. And, that there was a tremendous need, obviously, at that point, and even yet and still, right? People still recovering from the pandemic. So I
Mhm.
definitely admire the work you did. I mean, you even called me to offer guidance with my own personal business and assistance, which, I'm grateful because, right? Who does that, right? So thank you for caring, and thank you for always stepping up to the plate, and stepping up to the call of action. Like I appreciate and admire the work that you do, and and with this new formed board, I my question is like, what in addition to how you opened up and said what you think the board is about, like what are you looking to I guess create your first 30 days, being that you're like the only second member that potentially will be assigned to this board?
Well, the first 30 days, well, you're just, in the beginning, you're just learning about the board. What I would like to accomplish is to at least get out there and let people know what is available, what steps they have to take, and educate them as to what they need to be able to get the funds that are available, is what I would be looking at. I would just be learning. I would just be learning in the first 30 days about everything.
Yeah.
This is going to be new to me, but I want to get out there, and I want to be able to, when I see that there's a bid, I want to be able to let the people know, hey, you have the opportunity to bid for this money, go ahead and put, even if I know that they're reliable and that they can get the job done. If I know that, then I would definitely get them to apply for the bid.
Got it.
Yeah,
If
and I think
that's something that we can do.
Mhm.
I mean, are we allowed to go? I mean, being part of the board, are you supposed to go out and solicit?
that's a really good question, and because I'm just reading over how this board was created, and it said to advise the administration on issues and policies concerning enhanced participation in the maximum extent feasible of third-party contractors at all levels, and it keeps going on. So I think the clarification is how much direct service can you provide versus just advising on policies and procedures. But I think
Right.
that's as the board starts forming, maybe to come up with, where are those boundaries? Because there's certainly a lot that's needed right out there directly in the community. And I wouldn't doubt that there probably needs to be a position assigned to be helping folks out with this process.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I appreciate the comment, because if it's not soliciting, I mean, you'd be gathering information that will help guide and understand some of the maybe changes or modifications we need to make to certain policies to make them equal and accessible and equitable. So, there's, right, because I think we need to understand what the needs are and how to
Right.
make, and how we operate as a business, a city business. It's like, how do we facilitate and make projects accessible, attainable, and right? How do we facilitate the process? I think is always key, and I think that's an area in which we've
Right.
lacked for a long time.
Right.
Yeah,
How do we reach those individuals who are not going to know about it? How do we get to that? How do we get to them? And some of them are not going to have any idea, or might not even read, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
To
And
know that
yeah.
there's anything available.
Right. This is very much reminding me of what we do in social services. We call it culturally and linguistically appropriate services. And I think what applies to social services can be applied to business too, is how do you make sure everything is culturally competent so that people can understand what they're needing to get engaged with. And that's a lot of work to be able to be honest about how these things are not being presented in the way that are culturally responsive.
Mm-hmm.
And I just know the language that goes into it, even for English speaking people, it's overwhelming.
Yes.
Okay. It's always geared for people that have some type of reading literacy. If you don't have that, these documents don't mean a whole lot to you,
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So yeah, you have a real challenge. I'm really looking forward to. And do we have any other applicants out there, Michelle?
Not at this time, no.
So we could probably use some help recruiting other applicants for this board. If you
Okay.
can think of anyone, Josie or Johanny or
Sure.
Right. What's
Mhm.
the maximum amount? Is it 5?
It's 5, but there are specific categories.
Okay.
I have a lot of members of the chamber that maybe, you know, one or two might be interested.
Shelley, do you think you'd be able to get out when?
Yeah, I'm just looking at it right now. So we need someone who's a minority business owner,
Okay,
a procurement professional. So somebody who does bidding professionally, and then a resident of the city, and there's no
Okay.
pre-qualification for that.
okay, all right. Sounds good.
So do you have any
Okay.
questions for us at all?
I don't. I read the policies and everything that was sent to me. I don't know who sent that to me.
Probably
I
Shelley.
believe- Probably Shelley. I got it in an email, correct? Yes, I printed it out and read it. Thank you.
Do you have any more questions, Shahani?
No, I don't. I'm looking forward to next steps and you know,
Yep,
getting
so-
this board off the ground.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the next step for you, Josie, is that we'll be recommending to council for our meeting on Monday night, your appointment. And then once that's voted on, Shelley will be sending out a packet of information and scheduling a time for you to get, you actually have to be officially sworn in and whatever
Okay.
else needs to. And then I don't know what the next step is now that we'll have two people. I think you
Okay.
folks start meeting as two people and, you know, figure out some direction. Hopefully we recruit those other slots.
Okay, sounds good. Do I need to be present or not at the meeting?
No, you don't
Okay,
need to be.
all right. Well, keep me informed.
Okay,
Thank
and I'll see
you.
you soon.
Have a good night,
Okay.
Josie. Thank you.
You too. Bye.
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 Can we stop recording?
Yeah, I think so.